Man, Rooster, it's got to be 5 o'clock somewhere. Welcome back, everybody. I'm Bishop.
I'm Rooster.
Glad you're here. We got another great show for you today. And as always, remember to always leave a comment down because we want to read them. If you got any suggestions, let us know. Glad you're here and enjoy what we got for you. So I'm just going to roll it out to Rooster. What do we got this week?
So lately I've been seeing all of the news. I don't know about you guys, but we've been seeing all these articles and videos on Fox News about how math is racist. So I've tried to do the research. I've literally sat and listened to these people talk, and I cannot fathom the argument, but I'll try to formulate it for you. So basically, the point of view is that because math is objective and there was always a right and wrong answer, that it is racist because there's no room for any ambiguity or interpretation. So,
but wait a minute. So you're telling me because it doesn't allow for an alternative answer to a problem, that it's racist?
That is the argument. Yes. Now, I don't understand it at all, but...
So, okay. Yeah, that doesn't... I mean, that... Math is math. I mean, I don't want to have to quote being an old man, but math is math. I mean, math is math.
It's the most objective thing we have in the world. It's right? Like, that's the whole point of it.
But I mean, that leads to other questions, right? Other topics. Like, I mean, you were talking to me earlier about a question you had, and that was...
Is death racist then, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So, like, a death is more objective than that.
Right. I mean... You're not getting out of it.
Right, exactly, right.
I mean, it's not, I don't know about you folks, but you're not convincing me that you can tell death that you're not going. I mean, it's going to happen. So, because there's no other alternative, does that make death racist?
Right.
I mean,
it's like you might object to death.
I mean, I suppose there is other alternatives, right? I mean, people are freezing their heads.
That's true.
Right?
Cryogenic freezing.
And they're preserving their DNA because they feel like they can be cloned later.
Yeah.
But you ain't gonna remember that anyways.
Right. You're gonna
wake up and you're not even gonna have your own
human being.
Yeah, you're not gonna have your memories.
Yeah. No.
Right?
Exactly.
I mean,
unless in the future they figure out how to somehow implant the memories, it's like, but the brain is still such a huge mystery to us.
Absolutely, it is. And I think that's another whole discussion. But this. It still begs the question of, is death racist? I mean, no. In my point of view, neither is math. Why are we having a conversation about 2 + 2 isn't 4?
Right.
It is 4. It can be whatever else you want it to be, but you're going to have an alternate input to it that'll make it a different answer.
Right.
You can't convince me that 2 + 2 = 0. That is not going to happen.
Literally, the chick on Fox News is talking to the interviewer, and the interviewer is like, "So, explain your argument to me. So, if I say 2 + 2 is 4, that's racist." And the chick goes, and it's some fat white bitch, obviously, obviously, and she's like, "Well, yeah, it's because you're giving a definite right answer. 2 + 2 could be 5. We don't know." I'm like,
This stems from a whole different discussion, though. I mean, we're dealing with people's personal point of views, right? And this is the skew that's happened in our culture over the last few years, where fact is no longer the standard.
Oh, no, yeah.
It's personal feelings.
You create your own facts.
Right?
Yeah.
And that's just not how it works. I mean, because let's take this for example. If math is racist and you don't like the outcome, so does that mean you get to go to your local shopping center and you get to load up and you get to the counter and they tell you it's $685?
No.
And you tell them, no, it's $6.85. That ain't going to happen. That ain't going to work. I don't care who you are and I don't care who you are.
Right?
I can't get away with that shit.
It's like there are universal standards we've all agreed to, and math is one of those things.
I mean, come on, people. This is not okay. This is not okay.
That's when you get into like the topic of like gender and how people argue gender.
Oh, we're not swimming in that pool today. We're not doing that today.
Yeah.
We are not going down that water slide. I am not. I am too out of shape to even run that marathon because that is exhausting.
Yeah, no, seriously.
That is exhausting because, yeah, we're gonna pin that one right now on the table, everybody. I don't know about you. Can talk about it if you want to later.
Yeah.
We're talking about math and death. Okay, so
Right.
I don't know. I mean, my point of view is this: is that fine? If you want to believe 2 + 2 equals something else, that's fine for you. But when you're living on the street because you don't know how to manage your finances,
Right.
don't cry to somebody else to take care of you.
Right.
Because you fail to live by a normal standard.
Right. And because the system oppresses you and...
You're going to find out how oppressive it is
Right.
when you're sleeping in some cardboard.
Right.
Hopefully you're in a warm area.
Right.
Because for most of the country right now, we're still in winter. That ain't pretty. So... But yeah, I mean, we had talked about it a little bit, and I had told you, I was like, all right, let's take this as an example. You decide you're going to go jump off a damn 10-story building. 10 stories. And on your way down, you're negotiating in your mind how death is racist because it doesn't give you a different outcome. It's not going to allow you to just fall on pillows and walk away from that. You're pissed off because you realize at some point you ain't coming home. I don't know if you know this or not, but gravity hurts. So, I don't know where people get this objectivity in their thinking that just because they believe something else to be true, it changes the standard.
Yeah, exactly. That everyone else must believe it. But I mean, that's like, we've talked about social media and how it creates divide, and you're fed information that you believe so that it's more popular and you like it and people make money. It's like, that's what's creating, or part of what's creating this divide today in people's own personal realities and what they consider fact.
But let me ask you, you're in college right now. What does that look like to you? What does that look like to your age group? What does that look like to your generation? That whole thought process. Do you honestly think because you think something different is going to change what you have to do to accomplish your goals?
Oh no! Yeah, exactly.
So why does everybody else think it's okay?
No. At CSU, when I went to CSU, everyone was standing on the sidewalks outside of your class, screaming at you with signs, trying to tell you how to think, and it literally drove me fucking insane. Because I'm an open-minded person. A lot of times I would go out and I would have arguments with people, or not arguments, conversations, and try to understand where they're coming from. And then I would go to explain my point of view and try to get them to listen, and they would refuse. Immediately shut me down and be like, nope, you're wrong. Get out of here. You're wasting my time. I'm like, aren't you out here to have objective conversations and analyze facts? And nope, they're not. They're out there to prove that they're right.
So there needs to be an abundance of 10-story buildings. Is that what you're telling me?
Yes.
We need to have them perform their own experiments.
Right, exactly. Test it yourself, right? For real, though.
I mean, come on, people. You want to do that? Would you do that? Would you jump off a building to prove that you're right? That you could outlive a certainty just because you believed it to be different? Well, I don't know about you, but I ain't doing it. I ain't doing it.
But that is a consequence that is directly related. But the problem is, like we were talking earlier, now there's no accountability. There's no consequences for believing and sticking to your own reality and facts.
So, okay, that's very interesting. That's a very interesting statement. So, are you telling me that these individuals that are on these campuses and they have these little demonstrations and protests, are you telling me there's no consequences because they refuse to do the requirement to achieve the goal?
Exactly. And at most colleges, everyone has uniform thought. They're fucking sheep who follow around what people are saying, and they change what they're gonna think and what they feel just to fit into the larger group.
But why do you feel like that happens? Why do you feel like that is acceptable? Do you feel like that there is a lack of self-identity?
I would definitely agree with that. I mean, especially because being social is becoming less common, and it's like people rely to get their sociability from social media and stuff. Like we were saying, you're targeted with what you think. So, and then when you're learning, most professors are liberal and try to shove their views down your throat, and it's like, some people I came in were open-minded and, thought about things from different perspectives, but I feel like most people just want to fit into the group. And I feel like most humans want to do that. They want to fit in and feel comfortable.
I mean, that's the mentality of Homo sapiens.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Right? We evolved from gatherers and nomads, and you want to be in a group. I mean, there's success and survival in numbers.
Exactly. Yeah.
Right? And so, if you're in an area, that's understandable on a mass scale, but everything is so micronized now, right? There's 100 different views on one topic. It's not like you have two separate clans, right? Or groups of people that are battling because they have different beliefs.
Yeah.
Within those two groups now, you have hundreds of micro groups that there is no uniformity, and you can't tell one side from the other anymore.
Exactly.
So it all turns into this soup salad of events that you don't even know where to look anymore.
Right. But it's now because of the internet, you can look up what you want to believe, and then you get an article that tells you what you want to believe, and that reinforces it. So it's like everyone has access to whatever information they want to continue to formulate their comfortable reality.
Everybody, I'd like to know in the comments, how many sources of information do you actually rely on? Is it just, your Facebook feed? Is it a Twitter feed? Do you actually go on and verify information that you read in articles? What is it? Because it's really important, I think, for people to understand is that they have narrowed their perspectives and their avenues for gathering information. And we talked about this in our last episode on our pilot, is that there are multiple sources out there that you can actually use to verify. And if you actually get the true story, it's interesting to compare the actual facts to what you're seeing broadcast or put out there in the public.
For real.
Because it is a scary, scary thing.
Yeah, I thought it was interesting that you said that every time you read an article and you're like, whoa, and then you'll go see what UK newspapers have to say about it, what Australian news medias have to say about it, and how different countries reflect on the exact same topic, because that gives you a really well-rounded structure of what everyone believes about a topic, not just what you want to believe.
Right. It's so important. It's almost an art form at this point to have to navigate.
Like you were saying, you become your own reporter when you have to search out and find the information and figure out how you want to think about things.
Yeah, it would be very interesting if we could actually take away all these media outlets as far as instant media. That's what I call them is, I call it insta shit. But, you get these things that pop up in your feeds and, you look at it and everybody has a snap judgment. Everybody off the go has a snap judgment.
I feel like that's natural.
It is natural. It's because the person you've developed into has a natural reaction to some event.
Based on your environment and things that you've grown into.
Absolutely. But it's
being able to look back and be like, wait a second, I can't just judge this off of off of my natural instincts. I should really do some research and learn about these things. Right.
Because I feel like if people actually did a little more due diligence, we wouldn't have half the crap that's going on nowadays. And one of the things that also popped up that I personally took huge enjoyment in was the ACLU filed suit in the Supreme Court demanding that women be allowed for selective service. So, when you turned 18...
Exactly. I had to sign up for selective service.
You had to sign up for it. Every man has, just in case there is a mandated draft, and ACLU says, no, it's not just for men. Well, ladies, I want to know, what do you think about that? You ready to sign up? You ready to go get in the mud? You ready to go put that uniform on when it's time? Because I kind of feel like, half the men don't want to do it.
Exactly. Now,
so
probably more than half nowadays.
Now they want the women to go do it? I don't think y'all want to sign up for that.
Right.
So let us know in these comments down here, because I'm pretty sure you ain't having it.
Right.
Because you're definitely not going to get makeup tips on your Instagram while you're sleeping in the dirt. You're not going to have that phone next to you. It ain't going to happen.
Right. It's tough when you start talking about that, because it's like, of course women deserve equal rights in all facets of humanity, but then you really get into the deep diving facts of how men and women are actually different. It's like there are differences, and they cannot be equal because of those differences.
But I think that is a conversation that if you open that can of worms, Bud,
oh yeah, no, it's dangerous.
we'd be on this thing for like 3 hours.
Yeah, yeah.
Right? We'd have to get the laptop. We'd have to go and look at these studies. We'd have to actually break that down because there's too many arguments that are in there. And rightfully so, that is the objective conversation that needs to happen. Because I honestly, even though I would agree with you on what you just said, I'm going to tell you that there is a yes and a no on both ends.
Exactly, and I feel that way too.
Yes and a no on both ends. Because I'll tell you what, I personally know some women that would kick the hell out of a lot of the guys I know.
Probably me.
So I'm going to tell you that I know it's possible.
Right.
And I know that there's women out there that are
Who
every
could do
day.
more than I could do, guaranteed.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
But across the board, if you took the average woman against the average man, there are physical characteristics that are different.
Absolutely. Absolutely there is. And that could be another conversation that maybe you all want to hear about is, how do you feel about transgender in correlating sports?
And in military.
No, I'm not willing
I'm not
willing to get into that one because we already. We're not going down that road. There ain't enough fuel in this tank tonight. We ain't doing that. But yeah, I mean, that's what I'm saying is that I feel like if we're going to have the conversation on how math is racist, then death is racist. I mean, life is racist.
Yeah, exactly.
You can't have death without life.
Right.
I mean, and so when you're talking about drilling down on something that is it is the base model of information. Mm-hmm. Right? I don't care what number it is, it still equates to a 1 and a 0.
Yeah.
Right? And that's information, and that's used mathematically to solve the most complex questions and problems on the planet, in humankind.
I feel like they're trying to equate racism to, like, fairness. To, like, what is fair?
But do you feel like that this racism thing is it's completely out of control at this point?
I do believe racism exists, and that there are things that can be done about it, but I do believe it is out of control, yes.
My point is, and I had another conversation with one of our friends, and I said, well, if we're going to keep going down this road, ultimately, if we're going to keep going down this road, why is it that Caucasians are the only ones that are pointed out for racism?
Seriously, though. Oh,
Let's have that conversation. If you got something to say about it, I want to know. I want to hear it. I'm sure he does too.
Yeah.
Because that, I see, is a very powerful argument.
Oh, yeah. Especially going through Denver, like, I've had people call me cracker at school. I've had black people and be sitting at a group of black people at, like, the lunch table and have them be like, and I've had a black guy be like, I just don't like you. I'm like, why? He's like, because you're white. I'm like, what the fuck does that have to do with anything? And he said, I don't know, it just bugs me. It's like, that is a deep-rooted racism. Just like a white person hating a black person because of their color.
Yeah, that's very dangerous.
Yeah.
That's very dangerous. And I feel like people are throwing around these titles and these examples too freely, right? And there needs to be some accountability to this. Now, you want to bring me a conversation on fact. That you know for a fact that so-and-so did this and this and this. Then we can have that conversation about racism, right? But I am tired of hearing it always be centered on the Caucasians of this country, right? And the problem is that the rest of the world looks at us.
Exactly, yeah.
Right? So it's spurring out of control across the globe. And now you have extreme movements that are happening in other countries that it's affecting their governments, their populations, because they're like, well, if it worked for America, it should work for us.
Right.
It ain't working. Stop doing it.
It don't work.
It doesn't cost you anything to smile. It doesn't cost you anything to say hello. It doesn't cost you anything to have a simple conversation and get to know who that person is.
Right. Like we said, you might have a natural judgment about someone when you see someone and be like, oh my God, that person is a fucking hobo. They're dirty. It's like, but then you got to look at yourself and be like, okay, that's a judgment that I'm just putting on someone. I should at least give myself a chance to get to know them and understand them before I put them in this box and say that's what they are.
I think you're absolutely right. I think you're absolutely right. I think we're so consumed in our own lives today, we don't take enough time to just get to know somebody else.
Yeah.
And I mean, not in the sense of, oh, what does their feed got? What do they do for Instagram? And what do they got going on in Facebook? Because a real conversation, like what we're having right now, is priceless. So, if you guys have anything that you want to let us know about and your thoughts, we want to hear it. We absolutely want to hear it. And, you know, that you and I will continue to have this conversation, and I think it's great. I think it's great. I hope everybody's enjoyed their time. And unless the next round's on you, we got to go. Cheers, everybody.
Goodbye, and next time.
Catch you on the next one.
That does it for today's video, guys. Thanks for watching. Be sure to leave a like and subscribe to, that show.